David Imolati, Jesse Buck here, and today we're talking about
Cosplay.
the advantages, disadvantages between buying a prop made as opposed to semi-modifying and then doing it yourself. Break it down. You have some of your own props.
Yeah, so what I got here, this is the DE14. That's what, I bought it as. This is a 3D printed prop.
Where would we see this? If you don't mind me asking, can you explain where we'd see that?
This is something that you would find if you went to some of the cosplaying like clubs, like their websites and everything. This came off the Mandalorian Merc Costume Club forums, the Supply Depot. There's various prop makers in there. So, again, this is a 3D printed prop. So, really, the only thing I did with this was painting. I added just a few touches of my own to it, but essentially when I got this, the only thing it needed done to it was for it to be painted.
Okay.
This ran me after shipping about $110.
Wow.
Okay. The reason I purchased it was because it was lightweight.
Mm-hmm.
After carrying around the E11, which I'll get to here in a moment, your arms get tired, and the nice thing about the blaster pistol, I was able to, I'm able to holster it and free my hands up. But in general, I mean, it's nice to have a few of these. I am proud of this piece.
So, what character would I see with this?
This is something where a bounty hunter, a smuggler.
Okay, so it's not like Boba or Jango Fett.
Oh no, this is something. This is a fan-made design. I mean, it's got influences from some of the blasters from Star Wars: The Old Republic. But you can kind of see it's got kind of a revolver, look to it. My brothers call it my hand cannon because I mean it's measured about 15 inches in length and everything. But yeah, this is like I said, it's lightweight. And considering in comparison to some of the other pre-made props out there, this is a little bit more on the affordable side, but it's still expensive. Like I said, ran me about $110 after shipping.
As opposed to the next blaster that you're going to show us, which is semi
it's just
homemade,
kind of
semi,
yeah. So the next one here is my E11. Okay, and basically
it's so cool. I'm sorry. I'm just
basic part of this was an old Hasbro toy.
Yeah, I remember playing with it when I was a little kid. Like not your toy, but like I remember my buddy had that blaster, and I thought it was the coolest thing.
So anyway, this was the first, weapon prop that I put together, and it was a great, I had most of it, and really the only assembly that I had to worry about was I ordered a kind of a do-it-yourself modification kit to turn the Hasbro blaster into something a little bit more screen accurate, which required, honestly, it destroyed the old Hasbro toy.
Sacrifices have to be made.
But the thing is when I was a kid, it's supposed to light up and have sound. It never did. When I was able to actually take it apart and split it in half, the soundboard had gotten knocked loose at some point. So I was actually able to fix that. So the nice thing is it's not very loud, but it does have some sound. It does light up. You can kind of see it lighting up there. The kit, the do-it-yourself kit, ran me about $50 after shipping. Okay, so...
And that's after you have the $20 toy?
Yeah. Yes, I mean, I already had the toy on hand from my childhood and everything. I would say if you had to pick that up, if you had to get the kit and the toy, you're maybe looking $70 range. Okay, roughly. And keep in mind, I mean, with cosplaying, there's always a little bit of a startup cost because you have to have various paints and everything. I already had the stuff on hand, but I mean, if you already have all that, and you have the toy, you need to get the blaster and the kit, you're looking around $70.
Some of us had that toy. Can you kind of, because we have the close-up camera, can you kind of point out what you've added to this?
So the toy scope was inaccurate, so the kit comes with a more movie-accurate scope and the mounting bar. There's basically the ammo counter that they use, the magazine clip. Most people didn't realize that in the movies that the Stormtrooper E11s actually have a folding stock. Now this one isn't functional, but you can get a folding stock. Basically that would fold out and actually turn this into a larger scale rifle. Obviously the nozzle cap here was added in, and the rail bars around the barrel. And then we have this end cap here, which was,
Wow.
it's basically, if you had a strap to, to the gun and everything. So in general, I mean, these were resin cast pieces, polyurethane resin cast pieces. So yeah, I mean, there's a whole, video on YouTube that you can look up through this prop maker that he basically tells you how to disassemble the Hasbro toy, what you need to do to that Hasbro toy to get all this to fit on there. So again, I'd say price range, if you didn't have the blaster, you get the kit, you've got the tools, you're looking at about $70.
All right, so the first one, which was 100% someone else made, $110 roughly.
Yeah.
You're saying that to modify a toy with getting that additional kit is going to run you around $70, $80.
Yeah.
You have a custom built Jedi lightsaber hilt.
Yeah, so basically I was bored over the winter. I was kind of antsy and everything. And I just happened to stumble upon basically a lightsaber recipe.
Okay.
And it consisted of a pop-up sync assembly kit, which is what most of this is. The only tool that I used on this actual, well, I'd say two tools. I used a heat gun and a Dremel. The Dremel just to do just a little bit of cutting, nothing else, and then the heat gun to attach this plastic piece here, and we'll go into depth with that when we actually, get into, a build here. But in general, most of everything you see on here is stuff that I had laying around. I'd say probably a good 85% of
all these
what's
pieces
on
just
here.
laying around your home?
Yeah, some of the little extra stuff. But I'd say 85% of this lightsaber came just out of that pop-up sync assembly package.
Wow.
So, in comparison to the price, this only cost me $15 to do.
You built that entire lightsaber hilt for $15.
For $15. And the only reason it cost the pop-up sync assembly is they're like $7 at your local hardware store. If that's all I needed, that's all it would have cost me.
That's just baffling because you'll go on the internet and you'll see people who've poured hundreds of dollars buying lightsabers built from these companies, which they look super cool, but you've got something there that you've built yourself. Hell, you're halfway to being a Jedi.
Well, I mean, this is the thing is, if I had the proper know-how of electronics and everything, you could actually wire this up, if you wanted to. This is strictly a display or a belt hanger.
Okay.
So this isn't something where this is never going to light up.
Right, it's just something for decor.
Yeah, so this is something that I have planned for my own future Jedi cosplay. It's also something that I use as a trophy for my Mandalorian cosplay.
Really?
Because,
Super cool.
I mean, Mandalorian culture, they're trophy hunters. So
Yeah.
I would think that you've got a very capable weapon here. If you took down a Sith or a Jedi, you might want to claim that. So, yeah, for me, about $15, depending on what kind of parts you buy. The price point, it's like a starting price, $7, then question mark.
Yeah.
And it all depends on you.
Yeah. No, that's so awesome. Jesse, thank you so much for taking us through those. Again, you have this blaster here, which was, Jesse bought that for roughly $110.
Yeah.
This was a toy gun that he modified with an additional kit. He's saying if you don't have the gun, you have to go buy it yourself. You're looking at somewhere between $70 and $80.
It depends. I mean, like, if a Hasbro toy, a lot of those, the price range on them varies. I know, like, a lot of the guys, they get the EE3 carbine rifle, Boba Fett's rifle. I know roughly they run about $20 on like Amazon. You don't really have to do much to those, honestly. They're actually pretty close.
Cool.
I know a lot of guys end up actually replacing the scope, but they're nice starter weapon props.
Yeah, and then I just love the detail that you have with your custom saber hilts. You asked us one day before the cast if we would be interested in building a hilt.
Yeah.
And we were like, yes. So, shall we take a trip to the local hardware store?
Let's go.
All right, let's check it out.